in the case of the second mom, now here is an example. It's a very good example. The second mom that Joe Rose just covered, she looked like she was a vulnerable kind of mom, okay? She looked like it was actually legitimate, that she actually had a real, for her it might have actually been a real problem. She didn't have a husband coming and all of that. Like this woman, her husband was coming to get her, pick her up. But that second woman over the summer there on a 48 line apparently, she didn't have anybody coming to get her. But you see, the thing about the second woman was she wasn't a master's degree student from PSU who understood what to do to get the attention she needed. She was unable. See, that's why this story is a story. You do know that, right? That woman, that woman who was on that bus was able to create this story. She she should be working for TriMet Public Relations. She did a very good job making this story happen because that was a masterful way to get your point across, the way she handled it. She got that thing out. She went right to the press, and she had her own child, which is what made the story stick. She had her own child. And so her own child, when she interviewed with the news cameras, having her own child really made all the difference, because here's her child and she's talking as a mom, and the rest is history. The story took off around the country because moms identified with that, and that's what made it a viral thing. Now the second mom that Joe Rose dug up, she didn't have any of these skills. She's disabled or whatever, didn't know the right people. She even called police, and what did police do? They said, call TriMet. Just here's your revolving door. But the second mom actually had a better actual case than the first mom, as far as I'm concerned. The second mom seemed to have a more legitimate gripe, especially given where she was, and there's like no other buses coming. The 48 only runs once in a while. One other point I wanted to make about that situation was that she kept talking about how hot it was that day, how hot it was. So obviously on the 48s, 88s don't run with new equipment. They run with the old crappy shit. So we know that that bus was hot. We don't know the state of mind of the operator other than he was probably sweltering in there. And he then proceeded to make a scene with that mom. I'm not making excuses for the behavior, but I'm trying to say that these things don't just happen in a vacuum. There's other factors involved with this stuff happening. Like, there's stress factors. Because I can't believe the operators at one time were nice people. I really keep harping on this because I think it's really important that people understand that the system here at TriMet really is dehumanizing. You cannot, the shifts are crazy, long shifts. It takes you 10, 15 years before you can get a decent run. You're up all hours of the night or in the morning, up early in the morning, working many, many hours. You become desensitized, and if you've been mistreated at all, I've talked about this before. If you've been mistreated at all by the company or anybody else, they will, how the mom beats the dad, beats the mom, the mom beats the kid and the kid beats the dog. Well, that's what happens here. The operator feels abused. They end up taking it out on the passengers, as if the passengers are their only recourse to get justice. And I think there's a lot of that happens here that people don't realize, that frustrations of the operators get taken out on the passengers. And I wonder sometimes about the working conditions You know, that's why I'm so interested in the Sandy Day working conditions report. I want to know what her day was like. I think if that's it's very important to know why that lapsed. It wasn't just an error of unfounded proportion. I have a feeling, and now I know how these 9s are on Saturday. The Saturday 9s are overcrowded, overworked, very brutal. The 9 bus is bad anyway, but the Saturday schedules at TriMet are always like worse than weekday schedules. They always make you work harder on the weekend than they do on the weekday. Well, not Sunday, but Saturdays the schedules are always very tight and very crowded because there's less service. There's less service on Saturdays and Sundays, of course, but Sundays are pretty kicked back because there's less people out. Wow. We got a traffic jam. Anyway, we've covered about now.